Is that Dooley at the jail?
You got on me? Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay. How do you say your first name?
Naja.
Okay. And that is Ms. Dooley. You're charged with an offense called retail fraud, 3rd degree. Retail fraud, 3rd degree, they're claiming is at the Applebee's on 28th Street in Cascade Township. This is what's called an arraignment. I'm Judge Sara Smolenski, and the hearing is for you to understand what they're charging you with, what the possible penalties are, and what your rights are. Ms. Dooley, they're talking about an incident from June 10. The year was 2018. So this is over 2 years ago.
Yes,
At the
Your Honor.
Applebee's on 28th Street in Cascade, when they claim that Applebee's was open to the public, they're alleging you did steal property from the store that was offered for sale at a price of less than $200. It's a misdemeanor. It's up to 93 days in jail, up to $500 fine, or 3 times the value of the property stolen, whichever is greater. Do you have any questions that you can think of?
No, ma'am.
You have the right to plead guilty or not guilty. You have the right to have a trial in front of a judge or a jury. You have the right to have an attorney. If you couldn't afford an attorney, the court could appoint one for you. Then you pay an expense for a court-appointed attorney. If you wanted to have a trial, you could bring in witnesses, cross-examine witnesses, take the stand yourself, be a witness if you wanted to. If you chose not to, your silence cannot be held against you. You have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Can you think of any questions that you have so far, Ms. Dooley?
Why, can you tell me why all of a sudden they're trying to pin this on me and this is like 2 years ago?
Yep. I can't say for certain. They wrote the warrant in February of 2019. So about 8 months after it happened, they wrote the warrant, which was like a year and a half ago. They got information from people at the Applebee's that connected it to you. And I'm talking way back at the time that it happened. I don't know what took them so long to make the connection or why they charged you. There were other people that were charged. Elijah Pratt was also charged. And it might be other people, to be honest with you, I'm not certain. So I can't give you a very good explanation of why, but it is an old one, no doubt about it. It's over 2 years old, 2.5 years old. Today we'll just say not guilty. I'd like to know why you're in jail. Are you only in jail on this?
No, I had a car accident, Your Honor. And
when you had the car accident, were you hurt at all?
Yes, I was.
Did you go to the hospital?
Yes.
Okay. And then when you left the hospital, did you go to jail?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And was that something just recently, if today's October 13?
Yeah, this was this morning. This
morning? Well, I'm glad you weren't hurt more than you were. So did they charge you with anything from the car accident?
Yeah, a DUI and failed to stop, I guess, because I got scared. I got scared, but I came back.
You don't need to get into it. Don't get into it. Don't tell me about it. That's another case, another charge. I just didn't think that you'd just be in custody on this 2.5-year-old case. That's why I thought there had to be something else. On this case, it's been going for a long time. You just didn't know about it or you forgot about it. It's been a long time. And today we just say not guilty. Not guilty with a $500 PR bond. I'm not holding you on anything, but I don't have anything to do with your DUI or failing to stop. I don't know about that. That's not with me. but make sure that you show up when they give you a date to be in our court. What address do you go by now?
320 State Street.
Yep, we've got it. So expect to get mail at 320 State Street to tell you exactly when to connect with our court on this old Applebee's case, where they claim, I believe, that food and drink were eaten but not paid for. Okay, that's it, Ms. Dooley. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is it Shane King? Are you
Yep.
Shane King?
Yes.
Just slide over to your right, just slightly. There you go, good. On the Zoom screen, your face is blocked out with another photo, so I wanted to make sure I could see you. Mr. King,
All
I'm
right.
Judge Sara Smolenski. I have you in front of me on a charge of what's referred to as knowingly or intentionally possessing methamphetamine. This is called an arraignment. And an arraignment is the first time that you come before the court to hear what it is that you're charged with, what the possible penalties are, and what your rights are. They're saying that yesterday on Plainfield Avenue that you were charged with knowingly or intentionally possessing methamphetamine. It's a felony, Mr. King. 10 years in prison possible, and/or $15,000 fine. And unless you were to be sentenced to more than a year in prison, the court shall impose a license sanction where you lose your driving privileges. 6 months for a first offense, 1 year if there's a prior offense. Now you have the right to remain silent. You don't need to talk about the details of the case. Anything you say orally or in writing can be used against you in court. You have the right to have a lawyer present during any questioning that you consent to. If you don't have money to hire a lawyer, the court would appoint a lawyer for you, because on a felony case like this, you must have a lawyer. You've got 2 appointments set up for your case, Mr. King. October 26th and November 2, they're both Mondays. October
Okay.
26th at 11 a.m. and November 2 at 11 a.m. Probably they'll be done by Zoom. The first one is called a probable cause conference. You'll get to meet your attorney and talk with them about the case. They talk to the prosecutor, and then you guys decide whether you need a preliminary exam. The preliminary exam is set for November 2, Monday at 11 a.m. A hearing where the prosecutor has to present evidence in front of the judge. They try to show that there was a crime committed and that there's probable cause to believe you committed the offense. They're talking about the possession of methamphetamine.
Right. Yeah.
We have an address on Kinross on West
Yep.
M80. Is that still good?
That is correct.
How far is Kinross from Grand Rapids?
About 5 hours.
A 5-hour drive? Where is it?
The Upper Peninsula.
In the UP?
Yeah.
Okay, I just wasn't immediately aware of where that was.
It's right by Sault Ste. Marie.
Okay, that's fine. Do you have family in the greater Grand Rapids area?
I don't have family in the Grand Rapids area, but I've got friends and got family in Traverse
Well,
City.
I'm just wondering if anybody knows that you're in custody right now,
A few people do know, yes.
because I don't want them to be worried about where you are or what's going on. They're not recommending a PR bond, but we have Mr. Patrick Strong here from the Michigan Indigent Defense Council. He's going to say a few things. He may have already talked to you briefly. Go ahead, Mr. Strong.
Well, Your Honor, they may not have recommended a straight PR bond, but they have recommended a PR bond with supervised release. I'm looking at the pretrial risk assessment at this time. He does not have a history of not showing up for the court when they need him, and I would like the court to consider a PR bond of some sort for him.
Okay. Do you work at all, Mr. King?
I haven't in a few months now. I was working at a
And-
manufacturing plant, but
And is that area of Kinross in Chippewa County?
Yeah.
That's the name of the county? Because I looked at your
Yes,
criminal
yes,
record.
ma'am.
Most of your cases were from Chippewa County. That's up
Yep,
in Kinross area.
That's that area, yep.
Do you live with family or friends?
I live by family, but I live by myself.
So how do you pay for stuff if you're not employed?
Well, it's only been a few months now, and I've had unemployment, so.
I see. Do you think you're going to be able to come up with any money to get out of jail?
It's possible, yeah, but
Well, you can call and use the phones. They'll let you at the jail. I'm setting the bond at a 5,000, 10%. We'll enter a plea of not guilty on the felony charge. I'd like you to report to court services and no drugs, illegal drugs, no drugs. If you have prescription medication, I'm not talking about that. No
Right.
drugs. And they ask you to test randomly to make sure you're staying clean. It's pretty routine when there's any kind of a drug felony charge. So a 5,000, 10%, not guilty. Report to court services, no use of any illegal drugs, test as required.
all right,
Did you
thank
get fingerprinted already?
Yes.
So, Mr. King, you know the two dates I gave you, October 26th, November 2. You'll get
Yep.
paperwork. You'll get paperwork when you leave the jail, but just remember to contact our court.
All right. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Uh-huh. Is it Sherry Lillis?
It's Cherie.
You say it's Cherie?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Cherie, or sorry, Ms. Lillis, I'm Judge Sara Smolenski, and I have you in front of me on an arraignment today on a possession of methamphetamine felony and a possession of a controlled substance analog felony. An arraignment is the first time you come before the court to hear what you're charged with, what the possible penalties are, what your rights are. This goes back to February 29. It was leap year. February 29 this year. Now, already 8 months ago, South Division Avenue in Gaines Township, well, they call it Byron Township, so it's in the area, 6100 block of South Division. Knowingly or intentionally possessing methamphetamine is a felony, up to 10 years in prison, and or $15,000 fine. And unless you are sentenced to more than 1 year in prison, the court has to impose a license sanction. The second offense is called knowingly or intentionally possessing a controlled substance analog. That's a felony, but 2 years in prison, and or up to $2,000 fine. And it can also require, unless you're sentenced to more than 1 year in prison, the court can impose a license sanction. You have the right to remain silent, Ms. Lillis. You don't need to say anything to anyone about any of the details of last February. Anything you say orally or in writing can be used against you in court. You have the right to have a lawyer present during any questioning that you'd consent to. And if you cannot afford to hire your own lawyer, the court will appoint a lawyer for you because you must have a lawyer. They won't let you go forward on these charges without legal representation. The two dates they've set up is October 26th and November 2. They're both Mondays, back-to-back Mondays. Let me see here a second.
Okay.
It looks like they're both set at 11 o'clock. And
Okay.
the first one is called a probable cause conference, which is a hearing where you and your attorney talk about the case and discuss it with the prosecutor, making a determination of whether you need a preliminary exam. The preliminary exam is set for the following Monday, November 2. And that's a hearing where the prosecutor has to present evidence to show, one, that a crime was committed, two, that there exists probable cause to believe you committed the offense. Ms. Lillis, they're talking about the possession of methamphetamine and the possession of the analog. Now, do you think of any questions that you have for me?
No.
Are you currently right now on probation or parole?
No.
Do you have cases in any other courts?
No.
Are you in custody right now for anything else?
No.
So is the Sara Street address in Cedar Springs where you live?
It is.
And that's a good mailing address?
Yes, it is.
What's that work you do at Ascension Health?
I'm a direct support staff.
And is it considered a full-time position?
It is.
When you were taken into custody recently, last night, yesterday, whatever, was it for anything else?
No. I just got pulled over because I was going 10 over and then
So it was like a speeding ticket that turned into you got a warrant for your arrest.
Right, but I don't have a speeding ticket. They didn't charge me with anything else.
I meant like a traffic stop. Okay, I'm
Yeah,
glad
that-
they didn't get
yes.
the ticket. Yeah, but that's how it started. They didn't come to your house. They didn't come to
No.
your work. It was just a traffic stop.
Correct.
You gave them your identity. You gave them your name. They looked it up. You had a warrant. You were arrested.
Yes.
If this case goes back to February 29, when do you remember hearing about it besides last night?
I don't remember hearing about it.
So you never knew you were being charged.
Since I never knew I was going to be charged. I knew they wanted me to work with, I can't
Talk
remember
to
the
the
name of
board.
it.
Okay,
But
this is
the
what we
last
do
time I heard about
today.
it,
Go ahead,
Okay.
sorry.
the last time I heard about it was like probably March.
Okay. But you haven't checked in with anybody or looked into it? Nothing since then, pretty much? Because, I mean, it
No.
must have been a bummer to be taken into custody last night. Let's get real.
It was.
Okay, so Mr. Patrick Strong is here from the Michigan Indigent Defense Council. He met with you very briefly. Is there anything you want to say, Mr. Strong?
Yes, there is, Your. First of all, I have a pretrial risk assessment that recommends a PR bond with supervised release. I don't know if Your Honor has. She's lived in the Cedar Springs area for 9 years. She has 3 kids, and she does work for Ascension Health, which is an adult foster home. So I would, aside from having ties in the community, I say that she provides a pretty valuable service to the community also. That's all, Your Honor.
All right. Can you think of anything, other questions that you might have, Ms. Lillis?
No.
Do people that you know that you're in custody, so your family's taken care of, or they're not worried about where you are?
Yes, they know where I'm at.
Okay, so this is what's gonna happen. The bond is a 5,010% bond. That means $500 has to be posted. We enter a plea of not guilty, no illegal drugs. You have to report to court services, and you have to test randomly. I don't know whether your employer has you do that or not, but if
I do
they
it
ask you to test, you do?
I do test weekly. I've been 6 months sober and I do a recovery program and NA.
That's huge, huge. That's great, and I'm glad. Tell your attorney that, talk to him about it all. They'll talk that over with the prosecutor, and that's gonna be a huge help, there's no question. Any questions
Okay.
you have for me? Did you get
No.
fingerprinted last night when you were taken into custody?
I did.
All right, just get on the phone and get who can help you to get the money in, so you're out today.
Okay, I will. Thank
Thank you. Don't forget those dates I gave you, October 26th and November 2.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you.
Uh-huh. Is that all that you have, Mr. Strong?
Yep. Yes, it is, Your Honor, I believe so.
Then you can just make your motion to withdraw and I'll grant it, and then you can disconnect.
I so move, Your Honor.
And I'll grant it. Thanks so much for your help.
You.
Are you Joseph Dombeck?
Yes, I am. Morning, Judge.
Mr. Dombeck? Yep, it's
Afternoon.
afternoon, and that's
Yes.
good. Is the Allen Street address in Cedar still good?
No, and that's why I didn't know that I had a warrant for my arrest. I moved from there last June, and I didn't do an official address change until I believe March or April of this year to my brother's
Okay.
home.
Okay.
I know that it's a
What's the address
five.
you go by now?
1338 Panel, Pannell, Grand
Is
Rapids,
that
Michigan.
Okay, it's Grand Rapids. What direction
Yes.
is that panel?
It's right by
Or does it?
Ann and what direction
Northeast?
does it panel? What do you mean?
Like panel northeast?
Oh, northwest. It's the northwest side.
Yeah,
It's the west
northwest.
side.
And
Yes.
what's that zip? What's that zip? 495?
4904.
04? Yeah.
Yes.
And it's just a regular house, fair?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll get you the right mail from now on, Mr. Dombeck. But let me ask you
Yes.
this. Totally separate from the mail, totally separate from getting any address changed or even moving, totally separate from all of that. Take yourself back to July 8, 2018. It's over 2 years ago, July 8, 2018. Picture up in Cedar Springs at Pine Street and North Main Street.
Yes, I
Picture
remember.
a 2003 Pontiac. So my question is, did you physically get handed a ticket?
I believe I did. Yes. I went to jail
As
for.
opposed to physically taken to jail?
No, they gave me a ticket. They did not take me to
Right.
jail that day.
Right, okay.
Yes.
So if you back this truck up 2.5 years, and you're talking about the fact that regardless of what your address was, you were handed a ticket by an officer and never, ever in the end got this case finalized.
Yes, I ended up to where I didn't have a ride for the court date, and then when I finally did speak with an officer, I asked them to take me in because I knew that I had stuff to be taken care of. So I
And are
was
you
brought
talking
in.
about just recently?
This was last year in July, right? That I was last locked away was last July. I thought that I was getting
You'd
everything
remember
taken care
better
of.
than
then.
I. You'd remember better than I, but I'm just saying,
Yes.
when you tried to take care of it, it didn't get taken care of finally. Right now, we're showing $520 still outstanding.
Yes,
Your
and that's what I
thoughts?
was. My thoughts on that are I am on unemployment. I've been in jail 3 days already. I get my next payment on Wednesday morning, and I could pay 300 of it then, and then the very next payment I could pay off the last 220, if that would
Okay.
be possible. I'd really appreciate
So
it.
I just want to inquire, if you remember this case, not just from when I described it back in 2018 when you physically got the ticket, but a year ago when you got arrested again or turned
See,
yourself in
okay,
or whatever.
Okay. Can I
That's what
explain
I'm
that?
saying, like, how come it
For
never
last
got
year when
resolved?
I have no idea. That's the whole thing. I came to jail. I was here on a payer stay and I was released, and I thought that everything was taken care of. So it was just a big misunderstanding, really. If I would have known that I
Okay.
still had the 520, I would have paid it already.
Okay.
Yes.
So here's what I'm going to say. Pay the 520 in full, and I'll just put down November 15, which is a Sunday. Okay, so I'll say November 16th. I'm just
Okay,
going
I can-
mid-month.
I can have that
Well,
paid
it's like
before
a
that.
month from now. It's about a month from
Yes.
now. Well, according to what you're saying, you'll get it paid off before that. But I'm
Yes,
just
yes.
saying, don't forget. I'll
No, I
release
most certainly
you.
will not.
Okay, but we've had this talk before, so I'm just
Yes.
saying, pay it in full by November 16th.
Sounds great. Thank you very much.
All set, thank you.
Yep. Gruber? Back up to my room? Yep.
Do I stay here?
Is it Michael Gruber?
Yes, it is.
So, Mr. Gruber, I'm Judge Sara Smolenski, and you had an alcohol-related offense that you had in our court that goes back to October of 2017, 3 years ago right now, 3 years ago near Plymouth and Wealthy, over kind of by Blodgett Hospital. But it's not finalized with monies that are still outstanding to our court. Does that ring a bell?
Yes, it does, Your Honor.
Did you know that you still owed money?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Are you
Yeah.
in custody right now on something else?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
And how long are you going to be in? Any idea?
Well, I got bond, but I got no money, so probably a while.
And is your case that you're being held on a felony or a misdemeanor?
A felony.
Okay. So this is what we'll do. We'll give you credit for the time that you're serving right now. It looks like there's $225 owed. So we'll give you, starting with yesterday when you're in custody, credit toward the monies, and you'll have to do the 5 days. Any questions?
No, Your Honor.
They'll overlap with your other business. And I'm not trying to be funny because I didn't even know what your other business is. I still don't. But you're way old enough to get your life on track. You're throwing your life away by whatever's going on and you sitting in lockup. So think about that when you have some spare time to think about it. Because it's not just you that you're hurting. The people that care about you are affected by this as well. Okay, that's it.
All right, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Mackenzie.
Mr. McKenzie, do you remember talking to Judge O'Hara?
Yup.
Because Judge O'Hara was your judge. I'm his colleague. And you were supposed to report to the Kent County Jail. And we're doing everything by Zoom. So it's not like the old days when you'd physically be in custody with us in the courtroom and we'd say to the deputy, take him into custody. Now we're saying report to jail. So we're talking to people on Zoom at their house. And we're saying, okay, the penalty is you report to jail next week, Tuesday or whatever. So Judge O'Hara saw you on Zoom and ordered you to report to the Kent County Jail, and you never did. October 2nd was your date to report. What happened?
I didn't plan on, the Zoom thing was taking a while. For the court dates, I had no idea I was going to be sentenced that day. I had a bunch of untied things.
Unfinished.
Right.
Unfinished business in your life.
Right.
So you just blew it off and said, I'm not going.
Hey, it wasn't that easy, but
But look at it now. Now look at where you're at. Why are you in custody right now?
because I got picked up, I got depressed and I started using hard drugs.
Yeah. So when you got picked up, I mean, you could be sitting at your couch at home, they wouldn't know. You're out and about. Do you get arrested for a new charge?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what happens. So it's not like you sitting at your home getting depressed and using drugs. You're out and about, you're driving, you're doing whatever, you get arrested. They talk to you about that, which is the new business, but then you've also got this. So what's the status of the other case? Are you going to have an attorney on it? Is it more than one charge? What's going on?
It's a felony.
Yeah, you'll have to have a lawyer. They won't
Yep.
let you go forward without legal representation, so you'll get somebody and they'll be able to help you. Tell them about this as well. Okay, so what you have to do is you gotta start serving your time on this. It'll run concurrent, we call it, with the time that you're doing on your felony. I think it's about 11 days that you're looking at on this case.
He gave me
There's-
90 days.
Yep. So the jail time was 93 days credit for time served of 1 day. 92 days is what you were supposed to serve. I'm talking right now about some of the monies that are owed, and they can run that at the same time, but you'll start doing your 92 days that Judge O'Hara gave you, and it'll go back to when you were first arrested.
He said he was
Okay.
using the 500 that I posted for my bond.
Yeah, they definitely would have used that 500 cash, although it looks like it was forfeited back in November of
That's what he-
2019. He told you
That's
he
what
was
he
going to
told
use
me.
it? Okay,
He told me that.
okay. Was that most recently when you saw him?
Yeah, that was just the other day when he told me to report
Okay.
it.
I'll just say, okay, to apply the 500. I'm not doubting what you're saying to me, and I'll go ahead and do that. But you'll have to start the 92-day sentence, which is the big one.
Yep.
Okay, talk to your attorney you have on your felony so they know what's going on with this. It should pretty
Yep.
much resolve this case. All right, that's it. Good luck to you. And we're all depressed in some ways, Mr. McKenzie. Work hard at getting your life back on track.
Rivera?
Amanda, did you understand what I just did on that? Okay. Is it Brandon Rivera?
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, Mr. Rivera, I'm Judge Sara Smolenski, and I have you in front of me, like so many other people, for a really old case. Yours is over 2 years ago, March of 2018, driving on a suspended license in Byron Township in a 1999 Honda. I don't know if that's a vehicle or a motorcycle. I think it's a car. Monies are outstanding, never got paid. Tell me your thoughts.
There is no thoughts. I didn't pay
Just let it slip?
I was out of the country for a little bit. I don't really drive much. My wife usually drives me around, and I just didn't pay it. I'm not going to try to
Okay.
lie or do anything like that. Didn't
Well, I
take care of
appreciate
it.
it. When you
Yes,
left the
ma'am.
country, was it for work or was it for family? What was it for?
Leisure.
Leisure?
Family. Yes, family and friends.
Well, that's
and
nice. What
relaxing.
country?
Mexico.
Yeah. When was it?
About a year ago. I just got
Yeah.
back a couple months.
So you'd stayed there for quite a while?
Yes.
Well, I'm not doubting. I mean, that sounds good to probably a lot of us to just have some leisure. I'm not saying the whole time in Mexico was leisure, but if you owed money on this and you put it on the back burner and you're honest about it right now, you got to pay it. It's
I can take care of it.
$946,
Yep.
$946, which equates to about 15 days in the Kent County Jail. 340 of it is not waivable.
Yep.
So
Would I be,
if you pay
would I
the
be able
nine-
to?
yeah, you
I'm
can
sorry.
pay it today and be done today, 946.
I don't get my settlement check for another couple months, but I will be able
Uh-huh.
to make payments.
I'm not doubting that, but you're not
Okay.
going to be released from the jail until
Okay.
the cash is posted.
Okay.
Just make some calls, see if anybody can help you.
I can take care of that.
All right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Just call it civil contempt. Renee Smith,
Yes.
I'm Judge Sara Smolenski. We've met before, haven't we?
Mm-hmm. No.
Yeah. Never?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Not sure.
Yeah, we have. I think we
Yeah.
have.
Why?
Yeah. I just recognize your face, and your case goes back to May of 2019. And we had it set up. You saw the magistrate, if you remember the magistrate. We entered a plea of not guilty for you on the case. You were represented by the public defender's office. And we set it up for a trial status meeting. If you remember this, and I don't know if you do, Ms. Smith, we had a Portage address for you at the time when you got arrested for operating while intoxicated by a state trooper, and it was on May 3rd of last year. So now it's a year and a half ago. It was up by M57 in Harvard. Does any of that ring a bell? Not much. Don't feel like talking?
I apologize. The situation is just different.
Okay. I'm not looking at causing problems for you at all. I'm just trying to understand if you remember anything about the arrest. Did you go to jail? Did you go to the hospital? Were you hurt? Was it a car accident? I don't know any of the details. But then we never had you come back to court. And I don't know if you moved to Florida or if you were in a coma. I don't know what happened. And right
Your
now, go
Your
ahead.
Honor, if I may, I'm the one, Mulud Buxia, on behalf of Miss Smith. I'm representing her in the OWI that she has. At the time of this OWI, there was also 2 felony cases that she had with Ms. Foster. I know that Ms. Smith served quite a handful of time. How long did you serve, Ms. Smith?
Like a year or so.
Yeah.
Or even more. I'm not sure exactly.
considerable
that's
amount.
one of the big reasons of why she wasn't involved in this case, because she was locked up.
She was, yep, and then upon release, no, starting over with contact information and everything like that.
Is the address that you go by now still the one on Rockford Street in Portage, or is it completely different?
Renee, Ms. Smith,
Yeah.
what's your current address?
I'm not sure where I'm supposed to say.
You don't want to talk about it. That's fine. I don't want to put you in a spot where you're saying anything you don't want to say. Why are you in custody right now? Do you have other business?
Not
Nothing
that I'm
else?
aware of. Not
Did
that I'm
you
aware of.
remember? Did you remember Mr. Abuxia? Not much?
Renee, do you remember meeting with me?
I believe so. I'm not exactly.
Yeah. When did you get arrested on this? Have you been in custody just since last night, or has it been a few days? Okay.
I
Well,
believe
then
she's
let's do
only,
this.
I believe she's only been in a day, Your Honor.
Yep. Let's just do this, Mr. Abuxia. I'm just going to say not guilty. Is it prudent for you guys to talk for a minute right now if we put you in a room or not?
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea.
Let's just have you guys talk for 5 minutes, and if the deputy can give me that 5 minutes, we'll do that. Amanda, just put them in a room.
We're going
He's
to
on
talk
your-
privately, Renee.
He's your attorney, Ms. Smith, so take a minute and just talk with him briefly. You'll be completely confidential. We can't hear a thing. You can bring her in. Barbara, can you hear me?
Yes,
Can
I
you
can
hear me
you.
okay?
Yes.
It's Judge Smolenski. I'm just
Hi.
wondering if you need hello. We saw that you're in the Zoom room and wondered if you need any guidance or help, or are you just watching?
I was supposed to have my thing at 2:30 with you.
I'm not sure it's with me. That's what the issue is. Can you tell me your
Okay,
last
it
name
says,
again?
yes, it says Tuesday, October 13th at 2:30 p.m. before Judge Smolenski of the 63rd District Court.
Yeah, that sounds like me, all right.
Yes,
We're not
that's what's on my
perfect
paperwork.
Right. Tell me your last name.
It's Geerlings, Geerlings.
And you know what the case is about?
Yep, for domestic violence.
Okay. And did you talk with an attorney at all, Ms. Geerlings, or have anybody representing you, or were you just
Nope,
handling it yourself?
I was told the first Zoom that I was in that I would be contacted with a defender, and it was the Miloud. And then I was told to call and leave a message with the last name was Fairchild, which I did that, and I called 5 other times and left messages, and I never got a call back. So no, I never was able to sit down and review, the police report and have further questions.
Well, I'll get you set up here in a minute to talk to Mr. Miloud Abuxia. He's currently talking to another client right now, but we're talking with him on Zoom. So just hang with me and I'll be with you. Your appointment today at 2:30, it's actually a pretrial conference. And Mr. Abuxia may have already made an effort. I don't know if he tried to get a hold of you or not, but the fact that you're on the Zoom is a good thing. So just hang on and he'll be done in a few minutes and then I'll set you guys up.
Okay, thank you.
Could you tell me your first name again?
Yes, Barbara.
Yeah, I got it. Okay, hold on.
Okay. You never